Hello and welcome to my review of issue 59 of the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest subscription from Hatchett Partworks. Like all of the previous issues in the series so far, this magazine will set you back £7.99. Now, to buy all of these 5 models individually, if you were to sort of break them down from their respective box sets, would cost you £24. So that's a nice saving of £18 there just from this issue. It's another great value issue, not in the realms of one of the previous issues, which included the Ancient and 2 Lieutenants and squad of intercessors, but still it's a nice saving. It essentially contains one of the sprues that you get in the Dark Imperium box set, which I believe is still available for, I think, £95. If you can get it with a third-party discount from, say, Element Games using my affiliate link below, that could well save you another £20, making it an absolute bargain. What we're going to do is we'll have a look at the magazine itself. We'll go through it again. I know I had a first look yesterday, but then we'll look at the miniatures individually. We'll draw some size comparisons because there aren't any spare parts, and then we'll go through the rules for each of the 3 squads. Let's move them off to the side. They can watch in wonder. The first page sets us off with the forces of the Imperium, the Grey Knights. Are they as good as Custodes? No is the quick answer. After reading a couple of Custodes novels recently, they are incredible, you know. It's just they work with their latent psychic abilities. That's a big multiplying force with how they fight. Whereas Custodes, obviously, their kind of multiplying force is the Sisters of Silence, who create this null, this psychic null, which means that the effects of the warp and demons are subdued. So to get Custodes working the best, you definitely need the Sisters of Silence. To get Grey Knights working the best, well, you know, they need to be using they need to be drawing upon their psychic powers. Moving on, you've got a showcase here for the Grey Knights. I don't know why. The models are very old now. I think they're over 15 years old or so. They definitely need a refresh. They need like a Custodes kind of refresh. They're not Custodes size, but it would be great to see some Primaris interred into their ranks. Just as a suggestion, it's been a few hundred years since the Crusade. I'm sure there's been enough time for some of the Primaris to go through the rigorous tests that Titan expects these demon hunters to go through. You've got some more showcase of sort of old models as well. You've got the Maelstrom and the Dangers of the Warp, White Scars, Victories of the Khans. That's an interesting read if you haven't got the White Scars Codex supplement or anything like that. How to build the Space Marine reinforcements. It's excellent schoolboy error piece here. Yes, make sure that the hand that's holding the gun fits to the arm. Assembly choice of components. It just shows 2 different heads, but they are the same heads, just facing different ways. My best advice is to clip the plugs off, and then you can move the head pretty much any way you want, and that's what I've done with all of these. There you go, how to build them. They're not easy to build in terms of sort of push fit. You will need some glue, but they are what's called monopose, where you can't put them in any poses. You can't move their arms or their weapon or anything like that. The Inceptor, they're very straightforward models to build. You shouldn't really have any issues other than probably the Inceptor putting it on the base, but my best suggestion for the Inceptor, for any flying model really, is to not glue it to the base, but paint it separately and then glue it to the base once it's all complete. There you go. It doesn't look like they've followed that. It looks like they've glued it onto the base and then they're painting him. I mean, it probably would be quite cool to do that, because then it gives you a bit of a stand to hold him without touching the model. But there you go. They do a good job there, actually. That's a good finished load of models. Tracking a traitor. So you've got a rules mission, data extraction, assault on Jorgengast or Jorgengast. And then a look at the next two issues. You've got a huge horde there of poxwalkers with a Plague Marine, one of the coolest looking Plague Marines Games Workshop have ever produced, in my opinion. And then you get a load of Imperial objectives in issue 61. So stay tuned for the first looks and reviews of those. Technically, we've only got 20 issues left now before 80, which is the final one. I have received the final one a week or two ago, so it just gives you an idea of how far back I am. Where I can, I'm releasing 2 of these Conquest videos a week, so if you think about it, that's 8 a month, 16 over 2 months. We're going to be done in 2.5 months, so by my prediction, by August we should have covered the full release. That's if I decide to release any more than 2 a week. And considering that June is the start of when I'm going to go back to 2 videos a week, in light of this subscription, I would be happy to continue a daily video if it meant finishing this subscription earlier than August. If you'd like to see it finished earlier than August, please do put it in the comments below as always. So let's have a look at the minis that you get. A nice little selection of them here. So the 2... Oops, he's drunk. The 2 intercessors are twins. They're exactly the same, but it does give you the option of moving their head about. They are on plugs and sockets, but like I said before, you can clip the plug off, and then you've got opportunity there of moving the head, repositioning it. That's quite a cool pose. I like that one. That one, not so much. I fluffed up with the head orientation, I think, there. Okay, so I initially thought that these 2 were twins, but they are not. Their legs are slightly different, but I have moved clipped the plugs off and changed their heads in a odd direction. This one's pretty cool though. I really like that one. Remember to use a hand drill and drill in the hole of the bolt rifles. I haven't done that on these, unfortunately, and I haven't taken the mold lines off just because of the speed at which I'm getting through these videos at the moment. But I will do, definitely, before I spray them. So they're the 2 intercessors. Here are the 2 Hellblasters. Really like these Hellblasters. I just like Space Marines, specifically Primaris, with these plasma weapons. I think it's one of the best things Games Workshop have done for Space Marines and definitely intercessors. Giving them all these unstable plasma weapons. Thanks, Belisarius. Put all these into a repulsor executioner and you can just go for it, or even an impulsor if you want to do it that way. A bit less protection though. Anyway, they're the Hellblasters, and then finally the Inceptor, probably the clunkiest, clumsy looking model that they've released. The poses just aren't good. The suppressors, better poses, but you get 2 twins in that, I say, kit. You can only get that in the Start Collecting set. But yeah, legs apart, not really look like he's thrusting forward. He's got one arm up, aiming, you know, not the best poses for the Inceptors. But anyway, that's that model there. So let's do a few size comparisons then. Compared to a Death Guard, first of all, here is a Plague Marine that I've got. You're probably well versed now in sizes of Death Guard and Space Marines, but the Primaris is taller than the Death Guard, but the Death Guard is a little bit taller than a Space Marine because of the bloating effect and the chaos warp energies influencing pulling and contracting various armours. Compared to Poxwalkers, which are sort of humanoid size, that's about relative. However, these are again bloated and stretched to almost the size of a Space Marine, I'd say. Speaking of which, let's just show you a Space Marine, might as well. There you go, there's a Space Marine, gives you an idea of how big the Primaris are. They're a good foot taller, I think. They look a foot taller. They look well proportioned as well. I always think that the Space Marines, the legs are a bit thin, whereas these legs are filled out and the head looks in proportion, whereas the older Space Marines, I never really thought that they were that much in proportion, if that makes sense. Anyway, that's the little size comparisons over with. I suppose I should do a size comparison with a Primaris and Imperial Knight. Okay, I know that's not a normal size knight. Okay. Okay, let's just have a bit of fun and carry on with the review with the Inceptor, about to crash maybe. So this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules, and I will go through most of the rules for the Intercessors, which are on your left, the Inceptor in the middle, and then the Hellblasters on the right, in that order. So the Intercessors, if you didn't already know, they are a troop choice for the Space Marines. And again, if you didn't already know, Space Marines have access to 5 different troop choices, unlike the Sisters of Battle, which only have access to 1. So the Intercessor squad, it is a power points cost of a 5 and a points cost of 17 per model. Compared that to a normal tactical Space Marine, they are only 12 points per model, so it's 5 points more for these bad boys. Their stat line though is greatly improved. Their movement is 6 inches, weapon skill and ballistic skill both 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 7, and a save of 3+. So they're getting 1 extra wound and 1 extra attack than a normal tactical Space Marine. Typically a unit contains 1 sergeant and 4 intercessors. Obviously we've got 2 there, but we've had a few in previous issues. It can additionally contain up to 5 intercessors, so you can have a maximum of 10 in there. They're equipped with bolt pistol, bolt rifle, frag grenades and crack grenades. You may not have heard of the bolt rifle before, I'll just give you a lowdown of that. It's a ranged 30-inch weapon, rapid fire 1, strength 4, AP -1 and a damage of 1. How does that compare to a Space Marine standard bolt gun, I hear one of you ask, probably. And well, a standard bolt gun has always pretty much been 24 inches, rapid fire 1. It is a strength 4, but it's got no AP and only 1 damage. So these bolt rifles have a longer range and they have the AP -1, so you're knocking off that armour. If something's got a 5+ armour save, they've now got, guess what, they've now got a 6. So those bolt rifles are pretty decent, and that's their standard weapon. You've got plenty of other options here, such as, however, it limits all of the models to 1 specific bolt rifle. All of them can be equipped with an auto bolt rifle. All of them can be equipped with a stalker bolt rifle instead. Basically, the auto bolt rifle reduces the range, increases the number of shots, and reduces the AP, so you don't get any AP. And the stalker bolt rifle increases the range, changes it to a heavy 1, increases the armor penetration and the damage, so you get AP -2. So they've got a few choices in terms of their loadout. They can go long range, a bit like Devastators, 36-inch range bolt guns. You can go up close and personal with assault weapons with many shots, or you can have a mix of both there. The Sergeant can be equipped with a chainsword or weapon from the Sergeant weapons list. For every 5 of them, 1 of them can get a auxiliary grenade launcher, which just increases the range to the grenades that they've got to 30 inches, which is quite nice. They've got the Angels of Death rule, they've got the Combat Squads rule. The keywords are Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, Infantry Primaris and Intercessor Squad. Now the Inceptor in the middle is a fun little unit. It's in the fast attack section for Space Marines, which gives you 7 fast attack choices overall. So it's getting a bit swamped now with both these Inceptors and the Suppressors. If you want to know the difference, the Inceptors are the ones with the Assault Bolters, which this one has, and the Plasma Exterminators, and the Suppressors are the ones with the long accelerator autocannons. Inceptors are also slower than the Suppressors, even though the Inceptors have these bigger jump pack thrusters, which I never really got. Maybe it's because they've got like full armour on them, but the armour save is still the same for the Suppressor. Anyway, we're going off a tangent. They are a power points cost of a 7 and a points cost of 25 per model. Their stat line reads movement of 10 inches, weapon skill and ballistic skill both 3+, strength 4, toughness 5, 3 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 7 and a save of 3+. It's a very decent stat line there. You've got a nice toughness of 5, you've got a lot of wounds, you've still got the 2 attacks, it's good. The unit normally contains 2 Inceptors and 1 Sergeant. It can additionally contain up to 3 Inceptors, so you can have 6 in the squad. Every model is equipped with 2 Assault Bolters. Now these Assault Bolters, they're only range 18 inches, but if the movement speed is 10 inches, they've got that effective range of 28 inches. It's not too bad. And the weapons are Assault 3, Strength 5, AP -1 and a damage of 1. And they've got 2 of them. So you're getting 6 shots, not like D6 or D3 or anything like that. You're getting 6 shots per Inceptor at strength 5. You can opt for these plasma exterminators, which keeps the same 18-inch range, keeps the assault weapon, but this time they're only assault D3, but it bumps up the strength to 7, bumps up the AP to -3, but you still only get damage 1. You can choose to supercharge the plasma exterminators like most plasma weapons, but if you get a hit roll of a 1, but the bearer is destroyed, and that's a lot of wounds to be taken if you get a 1. You get a 1, there your 3 wounds gone, you're dead. The abilities, they've got Angels of Death, Meteoric Descent, which just means they can basically deep strike at the end of one of your movement phases, 9 inches away from an enemy. They've got the Crushing Charge, which is a nice little addition after they finish a charge move. For each model in this unit, you can select one enemy within 1 inch of that model and roll a d6, and then on a 6 they suffer a mortal wound. So if you've got 3 of them, you could potentially get those 3 mortal wounds, but you need 6s. And then of course you can have combat squads, so if you get 6 of them you can split them into 2 lots of 3. Keywords: Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, Infantry, Jump Pack, Mark 10 Gravis, Primaris Fly, Inceptor Squad. And then finally we're on to the juiciest choice in this issue, which are the Hellblaster Squad. Now you may spend 10-20 minutes trying to find them in the elite section. You won't find them there. They are heavy support, believe it or not. They are a power points cost of a 6 and a points cost of 18 per model. Their stat line reads: movement of 6 inches, weapon skill, ballistic skill, both 3+, strength and toughness of 4, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, leadership 7, and a save of 3+. They're intercessors in disguise, let's face it. The unit contains 1 sergeant and 4 Hellblasters. It can additionally contain up to 5 Hellblasters. Again, nothing new yet, but here's where it gets juicy. Every model is equipped with a bolt pistol, plasma incinerator, frag grenades and crack grenades. It'd be cool if they had plasma grenades. That'd be brilliant. No, they're equipped with this plasma incinerator. Now there's 3 different types of plasma incinerator. You've got your standard, which these are equipped with, and they are quite a long range, a 30-inch range, rapid fire 1, strength 7, AP -4, and damage 1. You can supercharge them, but again, the bearer is slain, so that's a lot of wounds to be taken off. You're taking off 2 wounds if you supercharge. So the decision is up to you whether it's worth taking that risk. Then you've got assault plasma incinerators, which lower the range again to 24 inches, assault 2, strength 6, AP -4, and damage 1. And finally, you've got the heavy plasma incinerators, which bump up the range to 36 inches, change it to a heavy 1, bump up the strength to strength 8, AP -4, and damage of 1. All of them, of course, can be supercharged, so it's really up to you which ones you want to pick. In this particular issue, though, they are just equipped with the standard plasma incinerators. Every model can be equipped with one of the following instead of 1 plasma incinerator. You've got an assault plasma incinerator or heavy plasma incinerator, I've covered that. And then the Hellblaster Sergeant can be equipped with 1 plasma pistol instead of 1 bolt pistol. Yay! So at least he gets a plasma pistol and a plasma incinerator. They've got abilities, Angels of Death and combat squads. Now, the keywords is Imperium, Adeptus Astartes, Infantry, Primaris and Hellblaster Squad. Now, I would have liked to have seen some kind of extra special rule for them, like Heat of the Sun or Plasma Volley, or I don't know, something that would just set them apart. Inceptors have their little special rule, Eliminators have their little rules, the Suppressors do. I just wish they'd have something to set them apart, just one extra thing other than they've got plasma incinerators and they take up a heavy support choice, which is the most contested section in the whole of the book, with elites coming in very, very close second. But you get what I mean. Something to make them a little bit more special would be more than welcome. Okay, and with that, that is the end of my review. What do you guys think of this issue and the value that you're getting? What do you think of the models? Please do put it in the comments below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.